You are now listening to the most talked about blog talk radio station in the universe. Walk in his ways, Impact Voice Radio. Be prepared to have your mind stimulated, your spirit elevated in ways you couldn't even imagine. Introducing your host and the mastermind behind this unforgettable experience, Ferman Jackson Jr. You will not be disappointed. Let's go!
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Walking This Way's Impact Voice Podcast. I'm your host, Ferman Jackson Jr. We're broadcasting live once again from my new home, my new location of Arlington, Texas, outside Dallas and Fort Worth, Texas. I hope everybody having a great, productive Tuesday. Got everything done, got things accomplished, but most importantly, we want to give the Most High His praise and His glory because He allowed us to see this day. The Bible says, this is the day He has been made. This is the day He's made. We're going to rejoice and be glad in it. So be glad in the day, no matter the circumstances around you, no matter how it looks, no matter what the news say about COVID-19, all this other crap that's going on. We know that He's still in control. And He protects His own. So that's the most important thing, that He still get the praise in the midst of our storm, in the midst of our trials and things that we're going through. He's still worthy to be praised. Even though Job was tried on numerous occasions, but he never cursed God. He loved God that much that, yeah, He slayed me, yet I trust Him. And we had those moments in our life where we go through those Job moments where even though things lose, we lose stuff, we lose family members, we lose resources, we lose stuff, He's still worthy to be praised. And I don't know where I'm going with this tonight, but in the midst of Job's trials and tribulations, the Bible said he just worshiped. When we go through our trials and tribulations, we get on the phone, we get on Facebook, we want to talk about our problems, we want to say why this happened to me, why this going on with me, but in the midst of all the stuff that Job went through, he just worshiped.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
You know what I'm saying? That lets you know you have a relationship with the Most High God. We have a relationship with the Creator Himself. You know that He's still worthy to be praised.
That's right.
In the midst of our trials and tribulations, even though we may lost things or we're going through some things, we're going through some hardships, some setbacks,
Yes,
He's still worthy to be praised. But that's another night, another note. Want everybody to be encouraged. I also want to welcome Dannielle back to the podcast. I know she was out last week. Welcome back. We miss you truly, and we thank you for being back with us again, hanging out with us on tonight. So thank you. Getting tongue-tied, so go ahead.
Hi, everybody. I am so happy to be here. I'm a financial advisor. Just a little background about me. It's so funny because I'm not from the South, but I have the pleasure of being here with these two Southern gentlemen, talking to different types of people who are trying to make big moves in this world. And so just like Ferman said, I love what he said about Job, and we were just before this talking about how things happen and God gets all the glory, and something popped into my mind about how, when things happen, that's when God shines the most. That's when we get to really realize what we're grateful for. And our friend Kenny here was just sharing how he was in the middle of the hurricane that happened, and his street was flooded. And all I was thinking about was all the things that we could be thankful for, even though there's so many things we could think of that are not good. But I was just thinking, wow, you survived the storm. God protected you. Like, there's so many wonderful things that we can think of to worship God and praise Him and just thank Him for, even when we're going through things. And so I love what you said, and I'm excited to jump into this interview in a few minutes.
Awesome stuff. And like I said, we thank you once again. And that's what it's all about. Still giving Him thanks in all things and praise. And just like I was reading before we got into the podcast tonight, how the Bible lets us know if we commit our works unto Him, our thoughts will be established. See, everything go right back to the Most High God. Everything go right back to Him. And He wants to be involved in our life. First of all, He made us. He created us. He knows what's in us. He knows where He wants to take us. So we commit our words back unto Him, He'll establish our thoughts, and that's what it's all about. So I'm very excited. Once again, also we got Kenny with the latest sports news and updates, and then we got our special guest for the evening, PAG Boss. He's actually here with us tonight, talking about his music. He's gonna be talking about his faith, his life, his trials, triumph, and how he want to set the music world on fire in 2021 and beyond 2021. So we get off into that tonight as well. So Kenny, kick off with the latest news and updates in the NFL, NBA, all around the sports world. We know we had some major cuts that took place in the NFL. A shocking cut took place in the NFL today. We'll get more into that. So Kenny, take it away.
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, I am blessed to be standing before you right now. I am honored to be standing before you right now. Thank you. You are now in the prime zone with your host, Primetime Williams. Before I get started, I would like to send prayers to the whole entire state of New Orleans, Mississippi, and Alabama during the recent of the Hurricane Ida. I was one of those people that survived the hurricane, and we thank God for the blessings, everything that He did for us, and for the families of shelter through the worst storm. Trust me, it was horrendous. But we thank you. But let's get into some sports and let's make a happy moment of it. I want to start by saying that the NBA is one thing, but the NFL is slowly approaching. If you notice, every week it gets thicker and thicker and thicker and thicker, and it's more exciting. And it's getting ready for week one. We have some latest and breaking news, but I want to start off tonight with, I'm gonna go to the NBA because we got some things that didn't happen in the NBA. We got some people that returned back to their old team, and I'm excited about them. So let's jump into it. I'm gonna tell you right now, Rajon Rondo is back in LA. He is back in LA. The original Rondo, playoff Rondo, is back in LA. He really never left. He just went across the street or down the freeway or took an exit and went to another side of town. That's all, because he was just with the Clippers. So he went back to the Lakers, being the fact that he was bought out by the Memphis Grizzlies. So he returned back to LA with a one-year deal worth $2.6 million. And reunites with LeBron, AD, and he's also with Dwight Howard, and he's back with the Russell Westbrook and Carmelo Anthony and company. So they are locked in as the championship title favorites. I don't see anybody else competing or making. Lakers champion. Give the shirts out right now. Send the hats out right now. Matter of fact, let's go get the Larry O'Brien trophy and just go and take it to the Staples Center, because they are set to win the next championship coming up, and I'm excited for them. I can't wait till that season starts, but I'm more excited about football season. But moving on with this last news from the NBA, Kevin Love opted out. He's not interested in his 2-year, $60 million contract left out. The Cleveland Cavaliers wanted to buy him out, but he wasn't interested in that. So he's going to try to seek another deal or try to do what he can to retain his position with the team. Cleveland Cavaliers been going and having a lot of ups and downs. And so we're going to hope for the best for Kevin Love and hope they can get a deal done soon before the season starts. I know training camp kicks off in October or September, and they're going to be ready to get this ball rolling. And now let's go off to the NFL. A lot of people know the NFL for National Football League, but the NFL also stands for not for long if you're not doing what you need to do or participating the way you need to be participating. So with that being said, Cam Newton is looking for a job right now. Cam Newton has been released from the New England Patriots. My God, I got this news this morning and I was like, whoa. He loses his job, got cut, and that leaves the Alabama first rounder, Matt Jones, as the New England Patriots starter for week one. I know he's an exciting kid. I've watched him through the preseason. He's been looking good. He's been doing great things, following through pretty well. He's been coached very well by Nick Saban and company down in Tuscaloosa. So he's going to be the starter quarterback for the New England Patriots. So we're going to look for him to do his best ability in week one, and hopefully he has a great year. As for Cam Newton, right now he's unemployed. So hopefully somebody, he just doesn't want to be a backup. That's his thing. You know, we don't know the speculations behind his cut today, but hopefully he can find a new home somewhere and be able to help a team out and do what they need to do to win, because Cam is a very good person and a very good athlete, a very good quarterback, 2015 MVP, and he also went to the Super Bowl, and he has a lot of accolades in the NFL. Moving on, Mississippi's own Vicksburg, Mississippi, Malcolm Butler is set to retire this year after being with the Cardinals. This will be his last year playing in the NFL. You guys remember Malcolm Butler with the New England Patriots that got the interception on the 1-yard line with Russell Wilson when they played the Seattle Seahawks and secured the win for the New England Patriots to win the Super Bowl and became an overnight sensation. And Malcolm has been to several different teams, also playing with the Tennessee Titans, and now he's with the Arizona Cardinals. And after this year's season, he's going to hang up the cleats and he's going to start living a regular life. So congratulations on Malcolm on doing that, and I hope everything works out for him after this year. No injuries. God bless you. Godspeed to you on that. Now, for more news, the Philadelphia Eagles have named Jalen Hurts, another Alabama product, as the starter for the Philadelphia Eagles. And he's I like Jalen. I'm not a fan of the Crimson Tide, but I did like Jalen. I was very impressed of his the way he plays the game, the way he controls the game. I really like him. So I'm really looking for him to do some big things in Philadelphia this year. The Saints, there's a lot of things to talk about with the New Orleans Saints. They have also named Jameis Winston as the starter quarterback over Taysom Hill. Jameis played an awesome game in his last. He's been having a great preseason, and so he's looking to start week one and gonna be able to do some things. And I am excited about him. In the meantime, the New Orleans Saints have moved their practice to the Dallas Cowboys facility, and they're practicing in the facility in Dallas due to the Hurricane Ida destroying their facility, and then it's not able to practice or get anything done. And the Saints opened up week one against the Packers, and it was supposed to be at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, but due to the weather, it might transform and go all the way back to Green Bay. So we'll be looking forward to more updates on that. Also, the Cowboys released DiNucci today, and also Gilbert was released today, leaving Cooper Rush to be Dak Prescott's backup quarterback. There's also been a lot of other cuts as well. This is the last week, coming up to the last week of preseason before week one of the regular season. And we're getting ready. We're getting closer and we're getting closer. We're getting closer. I know you're excited at home. You got chills just like I do, huh? Yeah, I know. I can't wait till September 9th. I'm actually going to have a get-together here in my house. I'm going to invite some youth guys from the church and little teenagers, and we're going to sit around and watch the game. And I'm going to be a little mentor about them. Try to bring up some more Cowboy fans. How about that? But moving on, in boxing this past weekend, Jake Paul, we all know Jake Paul, the YouTube sensation, has won a split decision over Tyron. There was a big controversy about that. These guys have been at each other's necks for weeks. And it got down to the fight, and Jason Paul, he did his thing and came out with the split decision. So congratulations, Jake, on that, and hopefully more big on your endeavors and more matches to come, because now there's going to be a lot of the people want to get in the ring with him, because he's now currently 4-0 in his brand new boxing career. So he's off to a good start. So we want to continue to pray for him and continue to lift him up and continue to wish him the best. Now let's go into some scores from this past weekend. We got the Colts 27-17 over the Detroit Lions. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers losing to the Carolina Panthers 34-9. We have the Buffalo Bills topping out against the Green Bay Packers 19-0. We have the Tennessee Titans coming up short against the Chicago Bears 27-24. That was a very close game. It was a very good game. And also we have the Broncos over the LA Rams 17-12. Moving on, we have the Eagles tying with the New York Jets. That game went down to the wire, and in preseason, you don't have an overtime. So at the end of the clock, 0-0, it's still tied. It ended up as a tie. So, and the Chiefs beating the Minnesota Vikings 28-25. The Washington football team coming up short against the Baltimore Ravens. That was an actual blowout from jump start. The backup quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens is going to be great this year with starter quarterback Lamar Jackson. Those guys are looking very good this year. I think they're going to be great coming out of the AFC. And too bad Emo is not on here tonight because the Buccaneers finally got a win. How about that? They finally got a win, topping off with the Texans 23-16. That's your scores right now for this week. But it's my last final thought of the day. After dealing with the Hurricane Ida, you learn a lot, you see a lot, you take a chance of losing everything. And thank God he covered and made sure that everything was still intact, lives were still in place, and people were still safe and sheltered and covered through the blood of Jesus Christ. So I just give my total thanks to God and the man above for making sure not just my family, but everybody that decided to stay around and toughen the storm out. The storm is over. It's a sunny, bright day outside, and it's a true what they say about the statement, behind every dark cloud is a sunny day. And so we want to thank you. Continue to send prayers to the state of Louisiana, to all surrounding areas, Mississippi Gulf Coast, Gulfport, Mobile, all the way to Pensacola and Moss Point. We thank you. But my final thought today is wherever you go, no matter what the weather, always bring your own sunshine. Again, I say, wherever you go, no matter what the weather is, you bring your own sunshine. That's my time, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Kenny Primetime Williams. I thank you for listening in. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. God bless you. Back to you, Ferman.
Hey, appreciate it, Kenny, with the latest news and updates that's taking place in our sports world. I'm a football fan. Looking forward to the kickoff of the NFL season, which is next Thursday night. Of course, truly, I am a Dallas Cowboys fan. Always been a Cowboys fan, so I'm looking forward to the season opener with the Super Bowl champions. That's going to be an interesting thing tonight. I mean, not tonight, but next Thursday night.
I'm ready for it too,
game. But on a lighter note, want to thank everybody once again, man, tuning in with us on tonight's podcast. I'm very excited. I just want to share this thing that I heard today when I was at work. I heard the thing was we could be our own worst enemy. When I say we could be our own worst enemy, we can stay in our own way. It's all about applying yourself for the greater good. You know, you can't blame nobody else for your lack of success. You can't blame nobody else because of your lack of effort. We could be our own worst enemy. It's because of how bad you really want to succeed in life. So I thought that was a very interesting thing to know, that we can't be our own worst enemy. So if you have step on things, you're going to get the results back. If you go full-fledged 100% in whatever you're doing, you're going to get that 100% back to you. So when you're doing things, take stuff seriously. Apply yourself and watch the results come back around. If you half-stepping, you're going to get half-stepping results. So the ball's in our court. Remember, we could be our own worst enemy. So I'm very excited about tonight's podcast. We have a very special guest. We thank everybody for their support, tuning in with us live or going on our YouTube channel, checking us out on iHeart, checking us out on Spotify, with the guests that we had this upcoming year. We are very excited. Men, extraordinary men and women doing great things in their city, utilizing their God-given gifts, utilizing their God-given ability to impact the world around them, impact the listening ear, impact the spirits, to cultivate their skills in order to put a smile on people's face. A lot of people going through a lot of things. People dealing with COVID, people dealing with unemployment. The suicide rate is going up. They're not telling you about that. The suicide rate is going up through COVID. The crime rate has shooting up because crime's still going on. People losing loved ones. But in the midst of all, like I said earlier, in the midst of all our trials and tribulations, we still gotta worship the Most High. Still give Him all the praise. Let's not worship God when things going good. Worship God when we seem like nothing's not going good, nothing's not going our way. But he's still worthy to be praised. And once again, welcome my co-host back, Dannielle. I know she just joined back with us on tonight. She was missing last week. We thank God that she's back with us tonight. So Danielle, how everything been going with you? I know you have a lot of things going on, and appreciate you taking time and be scheduled to join us once again here on the podcast.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm doing very well. I went through kind of like what you were saying, a death in my family. My father passed away from COVID. So my word to everybody is just, be safe, take precautions, and pray that God will protect you as you go out into this world, because COVID is very real, as we all know. And you just don't take it lightly, and also like, just don't take the relationships that we have with each other lightly. We need to say what we mean to each other daily. So I'm so excited to be here. I have been listening to your music on YouTube, and I'm so excited to learn more about you.
Awesome. Like I said, we're very excited to have our guests, our Q&A, along with our featured guests. I know me and Danielle are going to be asking you some questions here tonight on the podcast. Some interesting questions just to get an insight about you, get a background about you. I like how you presented your information to me. You consider yourself a rising star. I
Yes,
like
sir.
that because you setting the bar for yourself. You setting the standard for yourself. And I
Yes,
like
sir.
that. So introduce yourself here to the audience that's tuning in here on the podcast. We meet you for the very first time. So, hey, the mic is yours.
Yes, sir. My name is PHeBo5a. That's PHeBo5a. The five is I had a close friend. His name was Cinco, and we called him Binko. And he actually passed away this past year. He got killed. So um, I kept that in my name. It meant a lot of. It means a lot to me. But I'm from Columbia, South Carolina, born and raised. Well, I was born in Columbia, South Carolina. After my mom passed away, I ended up moving to a place called Conway, South Carolina, where I just been really grinding and trying to make a name for myself. Well, allowing God to use me to make a name for myself, and obviously to proclaim the gospel.
Awesome. And we know that in this generation, the gospel is much needed. And I'm
Yes,
glad
sir.
to see that God is raising up soldiers like yourself and
Yes, sir.
Danielle, of course, to be able to take the kingdom to another level, not just within the four walls, but outside the four walls, within the streets, the business world, because the gospel need to go forth.
Yes,
Souls
sir.
need to be won for the kingdom. So I'm thankful for you being a willing soldier to proclaim that. And you have a very interesting story. I know you lost your mother when you was 10 years old,
Yes, sir.
and that's hard. I mean, my mother's still living, and I know Danielle, her mother's around, but I know at 10 years old, that's hard. We won't get into that as well because just you moving forward in the things you're doing, you did not allow that to stop you. I know a lot of people when they go through things like that at a young age, they get into violence, they get into drugs, they get into all type of activity, and use that as a crutch to say, "Hey, here's why I'm doing it because this happened to me." But I
Yes,
know
sir.
that God had His hands on you. So I'm a gentleman, of course. So I'm gonna let Danielle ask you some questions. I know she got some questions for you. So, ladies first.
Yes, bro.
Okay. Well, okay, P Bosa.
Yes,
Did I
ma'am.
get it right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I am so excited as a fellow, I would call you like an evangelist. So as a fellow evangelist myself, to
Yes,
be
ma'am.
talking to you about your ministry, to talk to you about how you felt called into the ministry and what your passion is. Like, how do you want to bring this word
Yes,
about
sir. I mean, yes, ma'am.
to people? Yeah.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
let me hear more from you about that.
So basically, I always been into music since I was like young. My mom actually was a singer, so I kind of was always around music. I ended up actually starting music with my brother. And it just so happened within this past the end of, like I right now I'm sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to tell the story because it's a lot and I don't want to I know he got some questions that he got that I want to answer without telling the full story. So basically within the past 2 years stuff has really been moving for me, like really been in motion. So the past 5 years, I'm an audio engineer. So that's how I really got back into doing music because I played sports for a long time, and I got back into doing music, but engineering was how I got back into it. So I engineered for like 2 years while I was just perfecting my craft and me being an artist and getting back to home in my pen. And then I had an opportunity come up where I went to Atlanta to work with Reach Records. So I was there for maybe like 4 months. And COVID came, but while I was there, I was homing in on obviously mastering, audio engineering and mixing and mastering, but also being surrounded by all the artists that in that space. It allowed me to see how to do things the Kingdom way, but still have my own story. So it allowed me to see vision and provision essentially, and that's how that's how I dove more seriously into my ministry.
And that's what's up. I can tell how excited you are about the sound of your
Yeah.
voice, what you do, that you love doing what you do, and that's the beautiful thing about it. You're doing something that you love to do. And
Yes,
my
sir.
first question is, how did you get started in music? Is that something you always wanted to do? Do you come from a musical background, or is it just something you just picked up?
So music, like I said, for me, my mom was a singer, so I kind of was always around music. And the one thing about it, like I could never, anything I go do, I would always come back to music for some reason. Like I could just walk around and literally hear music in my head. I can hear words in my head. Like I can hear melodies in my head. Like, so it really was like something that was always in me that I just, I kind of early on in my life, I kind of knew I wanted to do that, but I kind of, strayed away from it because I was like, man, I'm playing sports. I'm doing a lot of other things. My brother started doing music. So for a long time, I felt like my family was supporting him more. So I kind of fell back from it and was like, you know what, I'm going to let him do that because, I believe in him doing that. And I'm going to try to do something else because we all can't be doing the same thing, which, what I felt like.
Right. And I know, like I said, when you start your music, and everything going right back to music. I know you went through a tragedy at 10 years old.
Yes,
and,
sir.
I know you mentioned that your mother passed when you was 10.
Yes, sir.
At 10 years old, how did you grip with that, with the loss of your mother? I mean, I know that's hard because my mother's still living, and I know that's hard to deal with.
Man, when my mom passed away, I kind of just stopped caring about life. It put me in a real cold place, where I felt like I lost my heart. So kind of nothing really didn't matter to me. I really didn't care. I was just doing whatever I felt like doing. Really, like when she died, that really kind of like between 10 and 13, it kind of forced me to grow up really fast and kind of like to the point where 13, 14, I'm already kind of in manhood, so it kind of put me in a weird space, but I definitely stopped caring.
And I know that's tough, and I know we had guests, especially from male counterparts, where they went through things in their life, they never really got those things fixed, that we go through life with these issues that we never really get the help that we need until we have to make up our minds, you know what, I need to get the help that I need. And then I know you said you had stopped caring. At that time, when did you start caring? After
I'm gonna just be honest.
Yeah, keep it 100.
within the past like 2 years, I really started really caring. Before I started, I was caring about a couple of things, the things that I wanted to care about, but life the past 2 years made me really be like, oh, I can't be I don't care type person because first off, my mind attracts what I want to become and what I am, and I seen where maybe if I cared a little bit more, I could have did a little bit better. Like for instance, I would have jobs where I kind of would I knew I had to work, to provide for my family. So I cared about my family, but I ain't necessarily care about the job because it really wasn't that important to me because I could get another job and I was making money, recording music. So I was like, shoot, if I lose my job, I really don't care. But in the long growing up, like I said, the past 2 years, me growing up, understanding I can't take that attitude into things that are in a way helping me, I can't look down on something that's helping me if it makes sense.
Right. It makes sense. Because everybody handle things differently. When it comes to life, I mean, tragedy happens. It's not something that we wake up every day, and then for you know it, you go left field, you go right field, but we never be prepared for these things. I guess just how we react to certain things in order to make it to the next phase of our life. And I know you mentioned that you have a family.
Yeah.
And you're married too, correct?
Yes, sir.
So we know women. We thank God for our women.
Yeah, we thank God
us
for
men go through things.
Thank you.
But in the midst of the things that you went through in your life, did you ever open up to your wife about the things that she was dealing with, the things that you did not confront? I know as men, we have that pride thing where we don't humble ourselves at some time. But I guess it takes that right woman to, I guess, help open us up, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Man, I always been I kind of always been like an emotional person. So I never really knew how to articulate myself and express how I was feeling. But honestly, I was trying to say this answer too. You got a question on there, and when I first met my wife, the one thing that I love about her is I was trying to, make her my girlfriend. She was like, nah. She was just telling me she was introducing me to God, and in that process, I began to she felt like someone I could talk to. So during the early part of us dating, I began to confide in her, tell her certain things. And once we got married, it's a lot of things that we've experienced as far as me opening up to her. And also, I know as men, it is important for us to talk to our women or our spouse. But I do want to say that I never, up until last year, I never really understood how important it was to talk to my wife about the things I was dealing with, the traumatic experiences that I was having. I thought, I thought I could heal by myself. And the one thing that I respect about my wife is she let me figure it out by myself. And then I was able to, that made me want to tell her more, that made me want to come to her because I knew what to say now, and I knew how to say it versus me coming to her as a grown man and articulating myself as a child. And I thank God for her for being patient because I know it was a trying time because I put a lot on her because of my trauma that I had. So I thank God that for one, she's still here. And I thank God that, we was able to work through that. And in the process, she was able to help me, and I was able to essentially help her and know what she needed and know how to be a better husband for her.
Man, awesome. And I love that because I know men, we deal with so much stuff. And we dealt with stuff in our childhood. We dealt with things that we never really got the help that we needed. And then we act a certain way. But I believe it just takes that right woman that God was in your life to allow you to open up, to drop the guard, and to be able to get help in the process of, and like I said, made you a better husband, and also that your wife is still with you today. So big shout out to your wife, your
Yeah,
support
shout out to her.
me
She held it
for
down.
being there with you. So Danielle, you have anything you want to ask?
Yeah, and I just want to add to what you were saying as a woman, the only woman here. Just I think that it's so amazing from a woman's perspective for a man to know the importance of communicating, because women, we are emotional as well, and we just want to connect with the man. So when you share, even if, like, I love the fact that you said that your wife allowed you to figure it out, because sometimes it's not a situation where we want to figure it out with you, or we can,
Yeah,
but just being included to know what's behind the veil, what makes you tick, what makes you how you are, it makes such a huge difference. And so I know that played a huge part in your closeness in your marriage, and I'm going to continue to pray for y'all
I appreciate
as
that.
you go forward. But okay, so my next question is about the music industry. So I know a lot of people just growing up who always, wanted to be in the industry, and just, like as a young kid, I mean, because I'm from California, so everybody just wants to be in the industry. And so what I know you were sharing that you kind of your path brought you to this place where now you're like actively pursuing this career
Yes,
as
ma'am.
a like a Christian artist. Is that what you would label yourself as, or?
No, man, I would label myself as an inspirational artist. The only reason I say that is because I don't, I don't kind of like to be in that box. Even though I believe in God, I want to reach people. I don't want to just reach Christian people. You know what I'm saying? So, and
Mhm.
I know by attaching labels that it kind of scare people away. Even if that's what I am,
Mhm.
like my grandma, she wants to call me a Christian artist. Okay, cool. Everybody's not going to call me a Christian artist.
Yeah.
But I also, and it's because I can make so much music. Now, obviously, I'm not going. I pride myself on not using profanity, and I pride myself on not being so explicit. But I do pride myself. I haven't always been in the church,
Right.
um, that just hasn't been my life. So I want
Mhm.
to share my experiences and share my real life story with people, and and allow them to see that I'm still a regular person, Even though I believe in God, I'm still a regular person. I'm still a person that go through things. I'm still a person that still got to make decisions. I'm still a person that struggles, and I just want to show people that you know it doesn't matter what you're going through. I feel like you're always gonna come to some point in your life that's gonna present
Mhm.
a win. So whether it's what I'm saying, whether it's God sending somebody by to give you food when you ain't
Mhm.
had no food for 2 weeks, or whether it's you going outside and not having a job, and you walk in a place and end up getting a job. So I
Yeah.
just want to inspire people.
Oh man, I
Yeah, that's
like that.
awesome. That reminds me of the artist named Lecrae. He did
Yeah,
something similar to
yeah,
that, and I think it took him a long way. I mean, I have been in the car, and some of his music came on, and people who weren't, they wouldn't label themselves as like a Christian or anything. They knew some of those songs, and they didn't even know he was like in the Christian community, like a big artist in the Christian on the Christian side, and so. I think that's awesome. God leads us in different ways.
and and honestly, being around him in particular, it allowed me to see how to navigate as the type of artist I wanted to be. Because
Mhm.
for him, he doesn't like being called a Christian artist, like
Mhm.
because he's trying to reach more than just Christian fan base.
Right.
It's also politics as far as the business go that he has to mind. But that's where I feel like it's a lot of things that I did see behind closed doors that I personally felt like people needed to see from an artist such as him.
Mhm.
Um, that that as when I left there, it put in perspective for me, like, okay, he's not doing that. So that's what I need to be doing. And that's what I was already doing. So that just showed that kind of like that kind of, and I get like I get kind of like people kind of got to watch what they say. So I kind of understand it, but some stuff need to be said. And I feel like if it's the truth, it needs to be said, as long as I know how to say it, obviously. And I feel like that's where God comes from.
Yeah, and I think God can lead you, like in everything that you do with your business, the different paths that He takes you on. Like literally, you could take one turn, like tomorrow, and it could take you to like to a whole nother destination. And so, like everybody's different. I think God leads you in different ways, and so it's good for us to just take those paths and, like you said, be honest. Let God use you however He wants. But I'll give it back to you, Ferman.
I mean, I like what he just said because he don't want to be limited. I know a lot of artists who went from, as they say, secular into doing transition to gospel, that they be labeled Christian artists. A lot of artists don't want to be called that. They're just known as an artist. Like they say, if you got artists doing music, like if you look at Million Stallion, you look at other artists, it's what they just known as music artists. They're not labeled secular artists. So I understand where you're coming from. You don't want to be in that box. Just like when Christ came with the gospel, He came to proclaim the gospel to the whole entire world.
The whole world.
He hung around the sinners. You know what I'm saying? And He did not care what people said, but He knew He came for. He said He came for the lost. You know what I'm saying? He came to take away our sins, and that we are called to be the light of the world. So we have to represent Him on a regular basis. And I understand what you're saying. When you under contract with different labels, it's certain things you can and can't say. And hey, that's part of the politics of it. But it's always good to have your own, voice, have your own thing where you don't have to owe nobody anything but the love, as the Bible says. So that was up. But I know that you learned some things behind the scenes as a business world, because even though you are a believer, you still have to handle business. The Bible tells us to do not be slothful in business. Favoring spirit. So that's a big thing. So as your experience learning more about the business, what was the biggest highlight to you learning behind the scenes? Just not just recording, but the whole thing when it came from marketing to mixing and mastering and all the other great stuff.
The biggest thing I learned about, like you said, not just the business, not just the music industry, but business in totality. I'm fortunate enough, my dad has been doing business for, he's had his own business for approximately like almost 10 to 15 years. So I've kind of been with him through the ups and downs in his business to kind of understand business in its totality. But once I got there, it put in perspective of how I wanted to navigate through business. So the biggest thing I would say that I learned from that is, in any business endeavor that you have to have vision, and vision comes from God. And because there's gonna be times where you don't know the direction that you need to go. And I feel like if you home in and hold on to the vision that God has given you and stay the course, nothing really can make you unsuccessful, other than the amount of effort that you put in. Because if the vision is from God, it shall do what it's set out to do.
Right, and that's how you operate, because the Bible says, without a vision, the people perish, of course.
Perish, yeah.
Rebecca tells us to write the vision, make it plain.
Make it plain.
And it will come within appointed time, of course, I'm paraphrasing. But vision, vision is important. And a lot of times we hear vision, we think about vision for business, ministry. But what about the home? We never look at vision for the home, for the man and the husband and wife to come together and say, we need a vision for our home. We need a vision for our children. So I know your wife is supportive of you. So we know we had some artists on here before, and one of the artists was on a label, of course, but she works alongside her husband. So does your wife have a role in your music career?
Yeah. So recently, my wife and I have really maybe within the past, the past month, really sat down and was like, all right, She finally told me, because I've been doing. I have my own business, and this is my 5th year of my business. Well, going on 6 years now.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Which I audio engineer. And so she's been there when I first started my business from ground up until now. So right now, what's going on is the artist side of it is coming into play. So for my wife, she's been really supportive, but obviously she can't really help me with my audio engineering because I don't really need her to help me with it. Not saying I don't need her to help me with it, but that's more like I'm sitting there thing. She don't really want. I mean, she has just been in the studio with me for hours at a time, but it got to the point where she was like, "All right, this is your thing. I kind of don't want to be here." And then I have a son, so it makes it a lot easier, for her to take care of my son. Obviously, while I'm working, doing my line of work. But as of recently, we've been on the road. We've been on the road touring, shooting videos. So she's really stepped up to the plate more than I thought she would do. And it's only because she my better half. She know what I need. So like for instance, like when I gotta go do a show, obviously I pack my bag, but she kind of go back and make sure I have like certain things. She makes sure I'm prepared. So she has definitely stepped in her role in our business. Right now, she's working my camera for me. On top of being a full-time mom, yes. But she's been a mom. God has definitely blessed us with her not working.
That's okay, cool. I like that.
So thank God to that, obviously. But that was her primary job, and then recently we just had a conversation where she told me like I had my opportunity to do what I wanted to do. I didn't, and she like, you're closer than I am to doing what I want to do. So let's home in and focus on what you need. And man, her saying that was like a relief, because here I am thinking like, man, I don't want to be selfish and, force my dreams on her and, be like, hey, I need your help. Like today, for instance, like I've been back in Conway, South Carolina, just working, recording and stuff, because I travel record too. And she's been in Texas, and I'm just riding in the car, and I'm like, certain stuff I'm like, I forgot to go to a meeting the other day. But having her here, she reminds me like, yo, you got a meeting today, or even like the questions you sent me. Like I waited till she came down today, and I was like, man, we need to go over these questions. I've been waiting on you, to go over the questions. So she's honestly the backbone to the whole operation as of right now. She makes sure if I'm running smoothly, everything else running smoothly, and she definitely makes sure that I'm equipped to do what needs to be done.
Man, awesome.
Wow. Yeah. As a mother, I know that I have 3 kids, and so
shout out to the moms.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Shout out to the moms. Yeah,
any mom who can do momming and then anything else in the world is like, it takes a lot. And so it sounds like she's an amazing woman, and the Bible says that he who finds a wife finds a good thing. So, yeah,
she definitely. I can't say in my earlier stages of like figuring out business, she was there. And now when we had conversations about business, I'd be kind of like surprised how she would start leading conversations. Or I just watch her now, like when we in rooms and people talking, and she go back over and then correct them, and like even her showing her parents certain stuff about business. Like to me, that's amazing. Like it showed like she was paying attention, and not only was she paying attention, she understands the importance of helping others as well. So
yeah. Wow.
She definitely doing her thing.
Well, that's big awesome. Shout out to your wife. First,
she gonna love this. She gonna love this interview. She gonna love this interview. I appreciate
it. I feel lots of love for her. So shout out to her. But I have 2 questions. I have 2 questions for you.
Yes, ma'am.
So for us non-music people,
yes, ma'am.
please share with us the definition or the meaning of audio engineer, and what does that entail? What does that job look like?
Okay, so let me first say this. I do have a degree in audio production.
Okay, cool.
So
Wow.
audio engineering is basically the songs that you guys listen to on the radio basically has to go through a process. So it's not just go to the studio and just record a song. So basically, I'm a recording engineer, mixing engineer, and mastering engineer, which I'm really been this past 6 months. I've been homing in on being a master engineer, and that's because that's something I seen at Reach that I wanted to implement into my own life. So basically, so the first process is recording, which is me just basically sitting there recording the artist or whoever comes in, whether it's an artist or musician comes in. And the next phase will be moved on to the mixing process, which is basically fine tuning the vocals, maybe EQing or compressing them, which EQing is making sure it sound crisp and compressing it, making sure it sound full. So that way when you guys listen to it on the radio, it doesn't sound cruddy, it doesn't sound dirty, it doesn't sound weird. And then the next process is mastering, which is making sure all your levels are straight, making sure making sure the song is full in its totality. However, the person needs it to be done. My job as an audio engineer is to bring the vision of the artist to life. And it's been moments where I have, and it's been moments where I haven't. So it's really solely an ear thing. So I'm constantly listening to music. I'm constantly listening to new music, old music. I'm constantly perfecting and homing in on that craft.
Wow. Wow. You sound like an expert. And I feel like what I was thinking, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you're just like a hidden gem. And
Yeah,
really,
I
somebody's
appreciate. Yeah, I definitely appreciate that, and it definitely with me being able to um also have my own independent record label, it brings much value because I don't have to outsource to do these other things that I need to get done. And it also puts me in different rooms and different positions with other people. Like with me just being able to engineer, I can work at live. I could work at the Dallas Cowboys Stadium and run the sound if I needed to, if I wanted to. And if the opportunity presents itself, I will be able to do that. So in its totality, it's open. It's an open field. It's a broad field. I would love to do that other stuff. Obviously, I want to get the music side of it off the ground. But if I do have an opportunity to do any of that other stuff, I'm definitely going to do it. One of the things that I do voluntarily at churches is I run a live sound. So
wow.
that gives me the opportunity to work with. I've had opportunities to work with radio stations, build close relationships with them. So it's all working together for the good of what I need to get done for God, obviously. And I thank Him for placing me in those positions. And I know if I'm not using it right now, I know how important it is to have it later on that line.
Yeah. And what about if an artist, just for the sake of our listeners, if an artist was to be like an up and coming artist, or maybe somebody who's even a little bit further along in their career, and they wanted to work with somebody like you, what would that look like? Where in the process of growing as an artist would you fit into that?
Yes, ma'am. So that process will look like basically like either I reach out to someone that I really want to work with, or they would reach out to me and kind of I don't one thing I don't do, which it kind of sound bad, I don't really market myself as an engineer. I kind of that's because I want the people to talk. I feel like I don't have to be one of those people that's like up in people's faces all the time. I feel like I kind of been raised around a lot of older people, so I feel like if I do a good job and I really I value every customer how I need to value them, and client that I need to value them, and I got a quality product, they'll begin to tell people, which is how I build my clientele base, which is how I build my business essentially. people like what I do, and they start telling other people, and then it starts spreading, obviously, because I'm working with a lot of different artists, so it starts to spread. So then it might be someone in another state that's connected to this person that's like, hey man, I want to do this. Or it might be another person that's connected to this person like, hey, I want to do this. So I really kind of don't know who I'm going to run into, when I'm going to run into them. But I definitely had the pleasure of running into, in the process, I've had the pleasure of, getting some bigger stuff sent to me to work on. And actually the process that I enjoy the most is building an artist from the ground up, because I know how hard that is. So being able to help them with their vision and help them get off the ground with their musical abilities is something that I love to do.
Wow, that's beautiful.
So if anybody want to work, I'm always available to work.
What's that email? Put that email out there.
I will. I definitely will. I don't know how to share it, but I definitely will get that email out there. You can follow me on. You can follow me on Instagram at _BO5A, and DM me Facebook at Boseri Harper. Send me a message, however you need to do it. I also have a place where you can book me called Powerhouse Entertainment on Facebook. It's connected to my Facebook page, so people can message me there as well.
Okay, awesome. Wow. And I know we connect via email. I know you reached out to me. That's how we came connect with each other. And I know you make Dallas your home now. And I'm also here in Dallas too. I'm artist in Arlington. So it's a great things going on in this area here in the state of Texas. So looking forward to being able to cross paths with you. Another thing we want to talk about your faith.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. I had to. They're closing, so I'm on the road right now.
You're good, but we want to talk about your faith.
Yes, sir.
Your faith in God. How I know you said your wife introduced you to God, and that's a beautiful thing. Take us through that moment when you came into the knowledge of who God was.
So basically, I apologize. Basically, so I was working at this place called the Fudgery, and I ended up meeting my wife there. And I apologize. Give me 1 second. Let me turn on the light. So basically I was in that working there, and she actually was there, and she started to I was dating her already before, we was actually together. And I started hanging out with her. She just she really wasn't interested in me at all. She kind of was shying me off. But in the process, she was teaching me the word of God. And in the process, I was talking to my grandma one day, and I was like, man, I ain't never this girl, she really denying me. She really denying me hard. And she told me straight up, she was like, that's a girl that's been raised by, her parents are pastors and, bishops, and they are people in leadership. So she was like, you're not going to get her how you think you're going to get her. It's going to take going to that word, to figure out what needs to be figured out. And man, when I say I got an opportunity to dive into the word, and that's where the seed was planted from my faith. And in the process, the past maybe 4 years, I've just been homing in and growing my relationship with God, and I've met Him in so many amazing different ways that that would be hard for me to explain sometimes.
But we know that God is amazing, of course.
The
great that I am, of course.
Yes, sir.
And I think about Psalms 1 when he talks about how the man, he meditates day and night on the word. That's his refuge. That's his resting place. We're going back to the source.
Yes, sir.
And how we build up ourselves. And people got to realize when it comes with our walk with God, it's an ongoing lifestyle.
Yes, sir.
It's not just I'm just gonna pick it up today, put it down tomorrow. And we have to make it second nature to us. That we can grow. It's all about growth, development in our faith, and be able to build up ourselves in our most holy faith, but also be an example to others we come in contact with. Because even Jesus said that we are the light of the world. So if we are light, we gotta lead by our lifestyle. We gotta lead by example, how we conduct ourselves, how we talk, how we live. Things we do, the things we say, things of that nature. But also, you want to be able to win people to the kingdom by showing us something different. Think about it, people going through a lot of stuff right now.
Yeah.
You know, people turn to drugs, they turn to alcohol, they turn to sex, they get into these all type of relationships, knowing that it's only one thing that's gonna fill that void, and we
Yeah.
know only God can fill that void in our life. We can try to do
Mhm.
everything, you do all the self help books, you can do all this stuff. Think about it, our own righteousness is like 50 rags to Him. So it don't matter
Mhm.
all that we done. It's all about how we accepted Christ at the end of the day
Yes,
when we
sir.
go when we face Him on judgment. That's the most important thing. Have we rejected Him or have we received Him? So
Yes, sir.
we know that's the very foundation. And I know you have music coming up. I know we pressed for time. You're working on the album.
Yes, sir.
Okay, talk about the album that you're working on. How can we, know, tune in to what you got going on? What
Oh,
media outlets you have that we could, support you to strive to and everything else?
yes, sir. So basically, the album I'm working on right now is entitled "Be Still," and uh, my first project was called Tommy's Destiny, and that took about 3 years for me to push out. Thanks to God, obviously. Um, and in the process, I had already I accumulated features. I've accumulated just building connections with people and being able to go through life. I've actually had the opportunity to come up with some really good songs that I can't wait for the world to hear. Obviously, and that's going to be coming out in January. I plan on releasing that in January. But that's something I've been working on for about a year now, a solid year now. But we do have music out right now. I have two bodies of work out right now, and I have I think maybe 6 or 7 singles. Um, the projects that's out right now is called Tommy's Destiny and Beauty for Ashes. Um,
Mm.
and basically we're on every major platform: Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, YouTube. We have visuals out on YouTube, and you can find and follow all that stuff at you can just search my name in the search bar, hashtag PHeBo5a, oh PHeBo5a, and I'll be able to come up and you'll be able to see the music. Uh, YouTube, we got some interviews up there on YouTube as well. So it's just been a constant, consistent grind for me as far as music goes.
Man, that's what's up right there. Staying
Wow.
consistent. So we appreciate you taking time to be here to be a part with us on the
Mhm.
night. Just think about it. And then you said three. You said on this project took you like three years, correct?
Yeah, the Tommy's Destiny project took about 3 years.
But you know what? God don't see time.
Yeah, he know. I'm
A
kind of
thousand
understanding
years
that a
to
lot
him. I
more.
mean, a thousand years to us just one day to him. And people
Yeah,
don't know
Mhm.
the history of it. When Noah built the ark, you know how long it took Noah to build the ark?
yeah, it took him a long time.
Yeah, it
I
took
I
about
think it was like
mean,
5 years.
400 years. Yeah,
It was 5 years. It took him 5 years to build that ark. And
that
mm,
that took a long
so,
time.
yeah.
but see, cause God don't see time. He
Yeah,
don't see time. Us is time, yeah, but man, yeah, it took him 5 years to build that ark. So, timing is everything. So it is.
yeah.
Timing is everything. So,
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
His time, divine timing is everything.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
cause it take 9 months for a baby to get here. See, God is patient. We're in this
Mhm.
flesh. This flesh is impatient.
Yeah.
That's why Jesus said the spirit is willing, flesh is weak. Danielle, you have anything you want to add, implement?
Yeah, just going back to the faith conversation really quickly. I just want to say, I love how God, He just waits patiently for us. He's constantly chasing us down and He's
Yeah.
constantly wanting to get a hold of our hearts. And so I love your story about how your wife kind of opened up the door and you walked through it. And
Yes,
now
ma'am.
look, God is using you in such a mighty way. He has so much plan for you. I
Yes,
can
ma'am.
see that you're going to clearly touch many lives for Christ. And so as a pastor, I'm just excited because I'm
Oh,
like,
you a
oh, this is
pastor?
gonna be huge. Yeah,
We
yeah.
definitely,
I have a church called New Vision Ministries.
we definitely. I want to, obviously get in contact with you guys because I know you said something earlier about the youth. Um, like I said, right now we've been on tour the past month really. So We still got some more dates that we got in September, so we trying to add some more stuff on. So we can get connected with you guys and definitely do some more things. We would love to.
I would love that. And then also, I know a lot of churches out here, a lot of pastors. Like I'm a part of a few different communities out here, so I would love to get you connected. But yeah, God is going to use you. As long as you want to be used, you want God to work in your life and you seek after him. One thing that I think we do as people is we beat ourselves up because we think we have to be good enough for God. But God didn't say that. He said, come as you are. So if you come to him and you offer yourself as a living sacrifice to him, then he will use you and he will find a way. He'll make you better. He'll make you good enough. And so I'm so excited for you. Thank you so much for coming on. Yeah.
I really appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate you taking time to be this schedule to be part with us on the podcast and hang out with us on tonight. I know, Dannielle, I know you have a final remark you want to leave before we get off the air.
Oh, yes. So I usually don't do this. Thank you, Ferman, for allowing me to have a final word of the day. But it was that you can do anything that you set your mind to do. And so I feel like a lot of times that sounds so cliche, like, oh yeah, I can do anything, but it's true. Like if you decide that you want to be an astronaut, every bone, every atom in your body will form itself to that. The thing about it is, how much are you willing to lose? How much do you really want it? And so I always tell people this when I'm connecting with them. They're like, oh, wow, you're doing so many things. And I'm like, how much do you want it? Because like, if you want to do something, you have to give up things to get things, right? So you could really do anything for our audience, for you, for all of us. It's just remind yourself on a daily basis, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So yeah, that was my word for today.
That was good.
Awesome stuff. Like that, just like that. In, out, just like that, bam. And you got to run with it, eat on it, and run with it. But like I said, we appreciate everybody once again. Appreciate the team of Dannielle, Kenny. Also, big shout out to Emo in her absence. Big shout out to PHeBo5a, PHeBo5a. Bosa, my bad. Bosa, my bad.
You fine.
We appreciate you, man, for taking time out to busy schedule. Appreciate the humbleness, the meekness about you.
I appreciate you guys.
You wasn't this with pride. You very humble with me.
Yes.
That God used the humble.
I appreciate
stay humble. God He will exalt you when you stay humble. But most important, we love you, man. We really do. We thank God for for hanging out with us. Of course, the replay is going to be up on our YouTube channel, Spotify, Our Heart Podcast, Apple Podcasts, and other media outlets. So, but we're here to get off. What do you want to leave with the audience tonight that's going to listen to this for years, generations to come? Because we know this not going nowhere.
Man, I kind of want to elaborate on, not elaborate. I kind of want to make some remarks off of what Dannielle said. The past maybe 3 or 4 weeks, maybe month, 3 weeks to a month, been really trying in my life. And I noticed that it's been like, as soon as like God is opening up some amazing doors for me to go into. And pretty much what you were saying about if you believe in doing something, don't let anything stop you from doing what you set out to, what God intends for you to do. Because what's for you is for you, and nothing can disrupt your destiny but you. You're the only person that can get in the way of what God has for you. But if you continue to push on and continue to press and continue to believe and continue to make those sacrifices that's need to be made, then, like you said, God can take you wherever you want to go, wherever He needs you to go, however He needs you to go.
Yep.
And I really appreciate you guys for just providing the opportunity and platform for a person like me to be able to come on and not only share my story, but also share the gospel.
Oh yeah.
And like I said, we appreciate you. We really do. And keep doing what you're doing.
Mr. Ferman, I want to say one thing. I can't hold back and say anything. Look, my brother, I've listened to the entire interview tonight, and I just want to give you my kudos. I love your humbleness. Love how you are a man of God. And most importantly, I love the fact that you are honoring and saluting, and you're including your wife as you, and making it as a one situation, one deal. And I think that's commendable. I encourage you to continue to strive and work harder. There's nothing but great blessings that's going to come your way, and I see it from listening to you, the sound of your voice, the response you've given tonight through the questions asked to you, man. I'm extremely ecstatic, and I'm proud to be a part of this segment tonight and with you on it, man. But I wish you nothing but greatness on your future journeys and your future endeavors. And I look forward to seeing you. I look forward to coming home, cutting on my TV, and there you are.
Yes, sir.
So
Thank you. I appreciate
God
that.
bless you, my brother. God bless you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And when I said you are a hidden gem, I meant that because I see the greatness on you. And it's just like oozing out of you. So I'm like, okay, like God is hiding you away from the things that are not for you. And so just trust in his timing, keep pushing, keep working hard. Like you are obviously, you're like over there as far as like experience, what you have to offer. And so just keep pushing. Like we can all see it here. So we're just like, okay, like we're just watching. Now we're just going to watch and apply to you along the way.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I appreciate you guys.
Awesome, man. We appreciate you as well. Also, we'll be back here next Tuesday night, same bat time, same bat channel. For those who don't know, that's the old Batman TV show that was coming on back in the day. But we appreciate you, my brother, once again, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Many blessings upon you and your wife. I love that you're not ashamed to be a husband. I respect that. Right. We got guys in this generation who are ashamed to be husbands. They get on social media portray like they single, knowing they got married and they got a family. So I'm gonna say this: if you married, still these women inboxes. You married. You married.
Okay.
Still these women inboxes. Know you married.
Okay.
Still these women inboxes.
You married, boy. Stop that.
I'm just saying. If you separated, stop these women inboxes. You still married.
Tell them. You just Ferman.
I respect men who are not ashamed to show their wives off on social media, because some guys do that. Right. And women getting pissed off about it. I'm just saying that they're gonna start exposing some of y'all guys who are out there in their inboxes knowing you're married. Those stay out of your inboxes.
It will happen.
If you married, man, respect your wife. At the end of the day, man, respect your wife. I tell anybody this: if you want to be single, I mean, if you want to be single, why get married for? If you're not ready to settle down, don't get married. Marriage is not for the weak at heart. Marriage is something that this is what you want to spend the rest of your life with. Remember, diseases are real. All types of diseases out there: AIDS, HIV, sexually transmitted diseases are real.
Yes.
So if you marry, stop the women inboxes. Of course.
And they always say, if God is in the center of your marriage, then it's gonna last. You gotta have God in the center. When you have two people who look to God, then when you go through things, you're not worried about each other being right. You're gonna go to God and let him be the center and the focus of getting things right. And so as long as you have that God in the middle, and in the as the cornerstone of that marriage, like you, your wife, and God, then he'll work it out as always.
Yeah, it takes two willing people to work a thing out. And I understand you're gonna go through trials and tribulations. You're gonna go through some things, true enough. But if two people willing to work things out, then I applaud that. Everybody laughed at Will and Jada with that whole entanglement thing. But what I respect about Will and them, people say they stuff about them. But I respect him as a man, how he handled the situation.
Yeah.
And people laughed at them and all this other stuff, but how they handled the situation, they already talked about it anyway. It's just something that old boy had brought up. But the way they handled the situation, that's what I respect about it.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, they laughed it off like, okay, we talked about this. Why this coming up again? So I respect that. If you married, man, work things out. If you can, I understand, but work the things out. Talk about it. Communicate. Some people, well, I'll take this back. If a person's heart is hard, you can't do anything about it. I'm sorry. But it takes two willing people to make a thing work. So work those things out, especially little things. You know, work the little things out. So we gotta talk about this on another podcast. So talk about some real stuff. I mean, cause we talk about this stuff all the time on the show lately. And what's been really talked about on the podcast lately is being open. You know, men are learning how to be open now to their wives. You know, we was never taught how to be open. We was taught to be molded a certain way, but now men are open up to their wives now about things they've been traumatized in their childhood. Women talk all the time, but men are kind of like growing into being open. I respect that.
Yeah, it's so important. And as women, we have to learn how to actively listen, and listen to our husbands, listen to our significant others, so that when they're sharing things, we are able to communicate effectively and not be just waiting to have our moment to talk. And so, we love talking, women. So, but this is awesome. So I love the fact that you and your wife have such a beautiful relationship. May God continue to bless it.
Thank you.
Yeah, most definitely. We're not finna hold you up. You gotta get home to your family. So we're not gonna hold you up. We gotta respect that the house come first. You gotta take care of the household. So.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, so take care of the household, take care of that queen, take care of your family. So we're gonna be back here next week on Walking This Way Impact Voice Podcast. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Bye.